Hello.
Hi everybody, welcome to a What Would the Smart Party Do channel. What we're aiming to do over the next coming weeks and months is present, along with ourselves and a guest, a game or a scenario every time, and then afterwards we're going to review it and see what could be improved and made more awesome about it. But this time we've got our guest gem, Mr. Matt from Steamforged Games and other game design opportunities. He's going to explain what we're playing and what's going on.
Yeah. So we're playing the free adventure that came to celebrate the release of the Explorer's Guide to Wildemount from the Critical Role guys and Wizard of the Coast. It's an official 5e module. What's unique about this one is that it came with a Roll20 module that was completely free as well. So we are having a little play through that. We have had a go. We've had a start. We've got some characters bedded in, and we've got about an hour or two under our belt. So we are going to join the action on the second half of the adventure. And so to bring everyone up to speed and to introduce all of the characters, I think we start with Mr. Matt, who could tell us all about Yin'beros and some of the things that he remembers from last week's adventure.
Yeah, sure. Hi. Yeah. So, Keeper Matt, otherwise known as @Loot the Corpses on Twitter. I'm playing Yin'beros, the young ice fisherman elf who comes from the local trading village of Palebank here, right up in the upper part of the world. Yin'beros has grown up here and then gone adventuring and found two ex-military chums who he's brought back to this icy realm from which he comes. I remember we had to basically find out why people were kind of turning to ice. That people had been dying in the village, and we found out it was a kind of a magical disease. We encountered some bandits in the curio shop in Powerbank, and I came across, which I'm now being convinced is a cursed dagger, but I of course kept it because I'm a little roguey type of guy. And the three of us went yomping out across the tundra to a cave. Where we discovered a priestess of Tiamat, of all things, who had also been affected by this disease. And now we're continuing our exploration, our attempt to find out where this disease comes from and how we can stop it from, well, killing all of the people in my hometown.
Cool. Baz, wonderful shirt.
Thanks, man. You obviously you catch me on a laundry day, and due to coronavirus, don't have to go out very much, so hence the face.
I've worn the same T-shirt 4 days in a row. This is a fresh one for the recording, so you should feel privileged that this has the scent of Persil in the air.
I appreciate you making the effort, mate. I'm Baz, co-host of the Smart Party, along with my companion, who's either down there or up there, depending on how you look at it.
He's down. He's definitely down.
Oh, he's down there. There he is. This guy's down there. I am playing a male Goliath fighter called Lamul Hidecarver. I love this character. He's a real gentle giant, mountain dwelling, but he was adopted into a dwarven family from birth. So he's never met his real parents, but he's brought up by dwarves. So apart from the fact he's twice the height of an average dwarf, he acts a great deal like them. But the one difference is he's got a sense of humour. So he's a nice guy, basically, a really nice guy, unless you're upsetting him or his friends, and it's roll for initiative equals you don't want to see the angry side of Lamul. Ex-soldier, and really, really enjoyed his time in the army. Never really got to see a whole lot of battles and stuff, which is maybe why he liked it so much. And these days he's headed into the frozen north, or as he calls it, the beautiful sunny north, to see what he can do, see if he can rebuild that camaraderie, that sense of esprit de corps that he got on the front line. He's knocking around with Yin'beros because he finds him so amusing, and he keeps making me laugh with his funny little plans and his and all of the tiny pockets he has on the inside of all of his clothes. It's all very amusing. But mostly he's there because he just likes hanging around with his good old friend from his military days, Nassri Armstrong.
And I am that, Nassri Armstrong. I'm Gaz from the Smart Party, the half of the What Would the Smart Party Do podcast. I'm playing a female dwarf, a cleric. In her past life, she was a soldier, obviously, has been discussed. There was a side-by-side with the Goliath in fights, and a funny pair they made too. But they have got their own war stories that the pair continue to make. She's slightly different than him. She's looking for the paladin that served her in a war against undead and carries a broken blade with her from that very self-same warrior, whoever he might be. And she's really hanging around with Yin'beros because she wants to convert him to a better way of living and perhaps a more wholesome life. And I don't want to say that she withholds healing and blessings and stuff as a blackmail attempt to get him to see the light. It's more showing him the benefits of these things, if only he would change his ways and obey the law a little more and perhaps be a little more pious.
Fantastic. And just so we hit all the salient points, we started the adventure at the scene of a funeral as the sun went down over the mountains. Elro, the elven ranger who is the erstwhile leader of Palebank Village, with his legion of glass blades, protecting everyone from the dangers of the Crystal Sands tundra. He did approach you respectfully and quietly, and seemed to indicate that the dwarf going into the ground, a dwarf explorer called Ergon, had succumbed to a disease, and he suspected that there was something afoot when someone else in the village also started to suffer the disease. So you guys went on the trail to see if you could ascertain what was going on and whether the village was under threat or not. And you followed a whole heap of clues, and it led you to the Croaker Cave, where a fairly desperate cleric or acolyte of Tiamat was there, just about to succumb to the disease. And it turned out that Ergon had brought back some ancient treasures from the islands of Islecross, and had sold them to various people, and those items had been stolen along the way, and the dwarf acolyte of Tiamat was getting her comeuppance in many a way. She shouldn't have stolen it, and she was dispatched, and you discovered these blue vials that had an electric blue powder in them, that you suspect, or you now know, was the source of the disease. The disease is something called the Frozen Woe, and Elro, when you went back to him, had heard of it and indicated that this was an ancient disease that was actually manufactured by a race of people who are to be found in the Islecross Islands. So we're going to pick up the action in the tap room of the Jolly Dwarf. It's a place that you've been before. You met a young man and his husband, who Irvin, and his two adopted tiefling children, and they are nowhere to be seen. In fact, Arl Boltlock, the dwarven innkeeper, seems unusually glum and a bit somber, and Elro is sitting there, and he gestures for you to come over as he sees you enter, and he indicates the seats, and Arl brings over you a drink, and Elro kind of, sort of looks at you, pauses for thought, and he says, "Well, it's not good news. How about you?"
It's great. Got a new dagger, got a potion. We're all living. She came back from the dead. Amazing.
Who came back from the dead?
Well, pretty much. Yeah, Nassri did. She was like spilling blood everywhere, and then and she was up. Maybe become a little bit more pious. Not that I really know what that means.
Moradin protects his own. What can I just correct you there? We, if you remember, we kept the dagger in a safe place because it was cursed and did not bring it with us.
Yes, we did.
Right, good.
Oh, Yin'beros, you made me laugh.
It's in a very safe place, my friends. Absolutely.
I think we've been very positive so far. We've been for a nice walk on a beautiful day. It was about -3, -4, something like that. We've invaded some caves. We put pay to a criminal organisation, haven't we? We've chopped that off at the head. So, no matter what else happens from our position now, we've done well. We can only make it better. The only thing we need to do, I suppose, is get to the source of this plague. So, yeah, we're happy with our progress so far, sir.
Well, you have performed admirably, and I believe that I owe you this. And he slides a leather pouch. You can hear the magical and familiar clink of heavy golden coins inside.
Strike like a cobra.
Yeah.
Oh, very good.
He says, unfortunately, I think the situation is more grave than we would like. Do you remember Irvin and his husband and young family?
I remember.
They are upstairs abed. All four of them have contracted the disease, and it turns out that they purchased a blue vial, such as you described, from Pelk, from his curiosities shop, along with a few other items. Now, the glass blades have had a look at that, and they've ascertained that none of the other items are contaminated, but the vial, the blue vial, had a hairline crack in it, and I rather suspect that this is where Irvin has caught the disease. I can't begin to describe to you how important Irvin is to this settlement. He is a regular trader. He always pays fair prices, and it really encourages and enables adventuring types such as yourself to use Pale Bank as a great launch pad for adventures into Islecross. So I would be incredibly appreciative if you were to help find a cure for the frozen woe.
Man, what do these people think they're buying when they get this blue dust? What was he thinking? He wasn't thinking at all.
They don't think. I mean, you know, look, adventurers head to Islecross. They search through the ruins of Aor. Aor's lost treasures are resplendent in their finery and value, and I think that's largely because people don't always know what an item is going to do. It's almost as if people enjoy the exotic mystique of discovering some of these contraptions that those ancient people created. I mean, you've seen the blue dust. One has to certainly admit that it's a very iridescent blue and very attractive and very saleable, but also deadly.
So his mention of the these things that people find, I sort of pat my tunic where I'm holding that dagger and look a little guilty, perhaps a little bit worried, but try not to show it.
Not all of us have the wisdom to leave behind cursed items. Thankfully, we as the more wise and intellectual folk do, but we can't expect simple farmers and fishermen to do the same thing. So it behooves us to go and find a solution, even if they brought the ills upon themselves. Don't you think so?
This is what you get for bin picking, frankly.
Well, quite. But on that note,
just take a long drink.
On that note, I'd rather think that the swiftest way for us to find an antidote to this, or a cure, if you like, is to go to the source of where the disease was manufactured. Rumor has it, and certainly the people that I've consulted on this would indicate that the ancient Aorians also manufactured antidotes to their diseases. What you are looking for is a milky white fluid, which is usually stored in golden vials, and is considered a very swift antidote. I think the best way would be for you to travel to Islecross and connect with Orvo Mustaine, or Mustave, sorry, who is a companion of Ergon. He and Ergon used to often adventure together. He may well be able to help you retrace Ergon's last steps and perhaps find the site where he found the original blue vials.
Right. May I ask a question, Elro? This milky white substance, that's milk.
Not all milky white substances is milk. The venom of a snake, for example.
I'm not stupid. I'm just saying, how will we know that it's not just milk? You have to test it.
I rather suspect that the golden vials will be an additional layer of confirmation.
You see, I know that dwarven nobility use golden vials for the milky white substance to breed their livestock, so I'm somewhat surprised by this solution that you suggest, but we'll try it. We'll take your word for sure.
Well, I mean, look, if you happen to stumble across dwarven solutions in similar vials whilst exploring the ruins of Islecross, well, that's an unfortunate coincidence, one imagines, but yes.
I should try all methods we can to cure this disease. It's insidious.
I would urge you. So the Aorians are an ancient race of people, and I believe use Draconic and or Elven as ways of communicating. So if you are to find a golden vial that has a milky substance in it, I would suspect you would recognise it by sight.
Or we could look for a label.
Or a label.
I can speak.
Written in
I can read
Draconic.
Elven. Yeah. Or
Or Elven. Yeah.
Right.
To be fair, Yin'beros, if you see something golden and stop to read the label, I'll be quite surprised. But fear not, anything gold we will be bringing back with us after this expedition.
That's
Whether it's
well,
close to one.
unfortunately, time is against us. So I have had to contact someone known as the buyer, an elf friend of the village, who for a fee is able to transport or teleport items magically from his location to various locations across the Grey Wildlands. So if you do find the antidote or the cure, take it to him, and he will make sure it gets to me swiftly, hopefully in time to save Irvin and his family.
So this buyer's on the islands now, is he?
He is on the island, yes. So I've secured a vessel who will be leaving in the morning to take you around the headland and across to Cyrinlia, which is the nearest settlement on the islands of Islecross. I'm just going to ping it for you on the map.
That is not good news.
Great news.
I'm not good at sea. I was
I
hoping
love
the
the
teleport
sea.
was going to be two-way. Oh boy. Okay, right. There's only one thing to do. I'm going to have to start drinking in this. I'm not doing this sober tomorrow. I need a Goliath-sized hangover to get me across this sea voyage. More ale. More ale.
Oh, Lamul, the sea. The sea's the most amazing thing. You see to infinity, the opportunities. I dream of the sea every night. I don't see it. You're going to love it, my friend.
You see poetry everywhere in Yin'beros. All I see is the pale, retching spittle drooling from my chin onto the deck. Oh, it's a nightmare. Not having solid ground under your feet, I don't know how you can do it. It's nearly as bad as flying.
I mean, that's where you're going wrong. You need to be on the edge so that there's no spittle on the deck. It goes over the edge.
I live on the edge, my friend. I live on the edge. That's where I need to be.
So Elro's
he's going to have this monster hangover.
Elro's passing kind of piece of advice is that it is freezing up there, and you need to make sure that you have appropriate cold weather gear. So if you don't have that, you probably need to pick some of that up. But
I mean, I've got some, but not quite enough. I think I need an extra couple of layers.
Yeah, I'm pretty comfortable that Elro will be able to kind of furnish you with some I don't know, sealskin coats and furry mittens and boots and everything. So you can be fairly well equipped, but it's cumbersome and heavy and feels quite over the top here. But he assures you that it's going to be entirely appropriate once you get there. Is there anything else you want to do before we kind of montage a little bit on your trip to Cyrinlia?
Shots.
Right.
Spend all the money we've been given on alcohol by the sounds of things.
You guys are very flush at the moment. 100 GP goes a hell of a long way in this particular tavern.
So we'll just, while these two are getting smashed,
yeah,
I'll make sure I've got a good portion of the gold put to one side with my list of things we might need. So given that we're going to ruins and stuff like that, we might need, for example, a crowbar to open old doors, or a pick and a shovel and that kind of stuff, and some ropes. And I'll just get a list together of all the stuff we might need for exploring the ruin and make sure we've got sufficient quantities of like fire making kit and all that kind of thing.
Well, that's cool. I mean, what we'll do to speed it up and make life easier is we'll probably run it a little bit like Dungeon World, and Baz knows that Baz loves it when I hack in another game micro mechanic. So it'll cost you, I think it's 10 gold for an adventurer's kit, and we'll say that that's got 5 uses in it for your 10 gold, and we'll tick one of those off each and every time you need to use it.
Right.
Ooh.
Cool. Okay, so as I say, the Elrond has arranged passage to Islecross for you. It is a reasonable size sailing ship called the Remoras. It is owned and operated by the Glass Blades, so it is a fairly tight ship. It's quite good fun. You'll be pleased to know that the rather friendly wood elf is on there, and she is incredibly pleased to see you.
Is that Neela?
It was you that was having a chat with her, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think that's Neela. Is it Neela?
Neela, yes. Yeah, she's there. She's like, yeah, no, I heard that you were heading off to Isocross. I thought it'd be fun to come along, and I've volunteered to, come on the trip.
Oh, yeah, me too. Oh, cool.
Hi, I'm Yin'beros. Hi.
She gives you a.
We never really spoke, did we?
It's an entirely disarming, relaxing smile. She seems genuinely happy to see you. And she's like, yeah. I remember you sneaking around in the shadows.
Maybe.
Well, not so much sneaking or so much in the shadows, if I remember correctly.
Getting around with purpose?
Yes. Yeah, let's go with that. That sounds like an excellent way of defining what happened.
So I'm Lamul's friend, like really good friend. So if basically that makes us like friends as well, right?
Pretty much. Yeah.
I don't know what's the matter with him. Displaceably, he's got his or something. Yin'beros, what's the matter with you? Have a drink, and I'll pull out a hip flask from inside my belt, and it's got some pretty strong SCOBY and rum in there. Get some of that down in there. What's the matter with you? Honestly, sorry. I'm the one who should. So you want me to get onto that like floating matchbox and go out onto that wet stuff?
Oh, you'll be fine. Don't worry. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. All this stuff is strong.
You'll be all right with that, Yin'beros. Clap him on the back, nearly send him over the gun.
It's gone straight to my knees. Oh.
So the journey is relatively pleasant, actually, despite the bitter cold, the vision of these frozen seas, the ice sheets that you occasionally have to break through the further north you get. Certainly, once you get past the headland, it kind of prepares you for the sight of Isocross as the island appears on the horizon and then just gets bigger and bigger. This frozen blue glacier of an island jutting out of the sea at really sharp angles. It's incredibly volcanic, mountainous style, black granite rock, really contrasting with the icy blue of the sea and the snow. As I say, the journey past is relatively what's the word I'm looking for?
Uneventful.
Not much happens. Uneventful. Perfect.
I'll do a thing.
Oh, go on then.
So while this journey is passing uneventfully, once the boys have done their clumsy attempts at filleting or just making friends or whatever else they're doing, I'm going to find times when I can speak to the Elven Ranger to get a view of the land we're going to, because presumably she's been out this way before, or if not her, other sailors. So there'll be snatches from the camera shot of the montage of various times when I'm like chatting to people. There'll be maps out on the table, held at the corners with candles and stuff.
Cool.
I'm trying to get an idea of like what's the land like, what are the creatures that might be stalking the place we took out for, any tips you've got, all that kind of stuff.
That's brilliant. So, yeah, I mean, the key salient points you get from that, as well as carrying an advantage forward for when you need it appropriately, will be that they are covered in ice and snow permanently. It's always well below freezing. One of the most impressive creatures that they've seen is a saber-toothed tiger that stood, they swear, about 15 foot at the shoulder, which is pretty big.
Whose shoulder though? Like a giant shoulder?
An elven shoulder.
A halfling shoulder?
Yeah. And they talk about the ice mephits. It's quite a magical land. So there's lots of ice mephits and other things that you would expect with a heavily saturated magical atmosphere, as it were.
There'll also be occasions where you see Yin'beros trying to speak to Mila and failing, so he has to go back and find Lamul and get another swig of his Dutch courage before he sort of swaggers over and says something meaningless, and then retreats back and is sick because the stuff is so strong. But
what's your angle with Mila? Are you trying to persuade her, or what kind of?
Nothing quite so sophisticated. He's just looking for attention. He's Yin'beros has found kind of a physical attraction to this young lady. He's a young elf. He's grown up in this village pretty much in isolation, and he just doesn't know how to deal with the hormones that's raging through him right now.
That's fine. Do you know what?
He's clearly retreating to alcoholism.
She's incredibly nice about it, and certainly doesn't seem to notice any of your perhaps awkwardness or anything like that. She just puts you at ease. And what I'd suspect you would find is over the course of a couple of days sailing with her, that you slowly relax and chill out a little bit, and perhaps level up slightly with regard to interacting with people like Mila.
Okay, cool. That's fine. Yeah.
Do you want a colour scene, Lamul?
Well, I've been enjoying myself on the deck initially because we weren't rocking about like a mad thing because we were bound in ice. And then when we finally got clear of the ice and the thing started bucking on the what I consider to be enormous swells and waves, which I'm sure to the seagoers amongst us is no more than a choppy duck pond. I'm probably going to be sick all down my cargo shorts and into my sandals,
nice,
which is not very pleasant at all. But once they're better out than in, once that's okay, I think I'm just going to get a bit of a ravenous appetite and do my usual thing of going to make friends with all of the common people, like the ship's cook, and maybe there's a cabin lad or something like that. And I'm going to end up like having some good dinner with the people who work the ship below deck.
Okay, fantastic. Well, you learn a couple of new recipes that you've never tried before, and definitely something that you'd want to try again.
Excellent. They sit on my stomach beautifully.
Absolutely.
Apart from like Yin'beros keeps showing up and asking to have a drink. So do you want some tips, Yin'beros? Do you want tips?
Yeah, that will be good. Yeah.
Well, look, Neela's a mate, but I'll tell you one thing she will respect. She's ex-military. She's a ranger. Challenge her to an arm wrestle or something. Or just punch her on the top of the arm next time you see her. That's what I'd do.
Challenge her and then punch her. Right, got it. Okay. Yeah,
in a friendly way. In a friendly way. Show her you're a strong, thrusting, dynamic international businessman.
I didn't understand any of those words, Yamal, but I'll have a go. How about if you're really sick, I can come to the rescue and then it'll make me look really tough.
Oh, no, don't involve me. Take the flask. It's yours for the rest of the day.
Thanks.
Dessert's on its way. And besides which, I need to speak to Nassri because we've got work to be doing here. You go and enjoy your love life. Do what you can. I think you're going to be friend zoned. I'll be honest.
I don't know what any of that means, but I'll give it a try. Thanks.
Well, I think what we'll do is we'll leave the mystery of how your relationship panned out for another time, because a couple of hours after you have a moment of excitement, a small, lean vessel with a large ramming prow did appear on the horizon and started to make set a course for interception, but then quickly pulled away from it when it saw the size of your vessel and how heavily armed the glass blades were when they kind of appeared at the side. So that was several hours out from arriving at Surinia. So the temperature has steadily dropped since you left Pale Bank. What felt like awkward, unnecessary cold weather gear definitely feels like you could do with an extra layer. It feels even colder still as you step off the ramp of the Ramirez, and through the windy snow you can see fur-lined tents, yurts arranged in a large camp. There's campfires dotted all over the place, little pockets of orange glowing light, but they're kind of really whipped by the constant wind howling through. So they are in a state of guttering all the time and don't really look to be given any warmth. But there are dwarves and elves huddled close to the flames, and you can you see a figure sort of like trudging through the snow, and a joking voice kind of bellows out, "Don't worry, it'll cool down here eventually. It's a bit warm tonight." And you look down and you see a female dwarf, big shaggy mane of unkempt hair, bows to you. "Morgo Delwer, at your service. Welcome to Iselcross." And she gestures grandly at this particularly crappy little village of really cold people and bad tents.
Good to meet you, Morgan. I'm Lamul, another scorcher, I see. Thanks for turning the weather on for us. These are my companions. This is Yin'beros and this is Nassri.
Wonderful.
Hello.
Well, don't worry. It will cool down eventually.
I bought a hat just in case. I put on my trapper's hat with the fur bit up at the front and 2 bits over the ears.
Nice.
I got it back in Pale Bank. It's a bit small on this, but she'll get me through the night.
What stands out to you is Morgo is effectively standing there with like a blouse, like a linen shirt, as it were, sleeves rolled up, looks like a Geordie dwarf basically. Just sort of like standing there. You notice that she's got incredibly hairy arms. She's almost got like a thick pelt all over her. So she's just kind of standing there. Yeah, just a shirt and trousers on. She's like, I'll show you around if you like. What's that?
Are you not feeling the cold? It's freezing.
Yeah, this is brilliant. Yeah, this is perfect. Yeah. Oh, you get used to it. Don't worry.
Let's get out of this beating sun to get somewhere shady.
She'll have magical protections, Yin'beros. I know you don't know much of the arcane arts, but there'll be something like that. Don't worry.
Oh, as long as it's not normal, then as long as we can blame it on magic, then I'm okay with that, Nassri.
Yeah. The gods are protecting her.
Show us around, Morgo.
Yes, I'd gladly show you around. What brings you to Isle Cross, accompanied by Glassblades, no less? You must be someone important.
Yep, we are.
Well, that's
stuff, adventuring and stuff. You don't happen to know Ervo Mustave, do you?
Oh yeah. Like Orvo lives in over there, just past the buyer's tent, the big one in the middle. It's just the other side of there. Is Orvo's tent.
You say the buyer? Do you mean the buyer, or just another buyer?
Oh no, the capital T, capital B, the buyer. Yeah,
the buyer.
Yeah,
right.
He's just
He's trustworthy, this buyer, or do you use him only because he's the only thing around?
Well, I think. So a quick bit of advice, and I always slip of the tongue. They prefer to be referred to as they, the buyer,
Right.
but terribly nice, very fair, little bit mysterious. So, but that's kind of what you expect with people who dabble as much as they do with the more arcane things that come out of the ruins.
Oh, right. Doesn't have a real name then. Probably not something we should mention in conversation.
Not that I know of. No, I've always referred to them as the buyer.
Buyer, right.
And how frequently do people pull things out of those ruins? How dangerous are they? What's the death rate of people going in compared to magical treasures coming out?
What's our odds?
Yeah.
Well, it depends how far you're going.
Too far, usually.
Right.
Not far enough.
So, have you heard of magical antidotes that are held in golden flasks within the ruins? Is that something people see? Are they fairly common? Or is it something unheard of to your ears, as filled with hair as they are?
Magical antidotes. Well, yeah. I mean, all sorts comes out of this place. Any particular antidote for any particular condition?
Yes, the poison, the disease springs from a blue glittery substance in a vial.
Ah, yes.
Freezing death.
Frozen, yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, there is a cure for that disease. It is usually a milky fluid, and you can find them dotted all over the place. I mean, those vials of that particular blue powder pop up quite frequently.
Do you know of any use for it? Because all that we've seen is trauma and death and grief.
Well, you do. Do you know about the Aorians and what they were trying to do when?
That's the older race, right?
It's the older race. So the legends have it, and the bio will be able to tell you far more detail than I know. But they were looking to create weapons to kill the gods. and the gods during the Cataclysm were not happy about this, obviously, and cast them down, and they smashed into where we are now, and created an enormous scene of ruin that has over the centuries filled with ice. And as the ice shifts and new places reveal, access to these ancient areas and locations reveal themselves. But as far as I could tell, they're all a little bit kind of woo-hoo. But there is some dangerous stuff out there. I mean, these people managed to create things that made the gods frightened.
Why would anybody even consider killing a god? That just seems like a
well, you know what gods are like.
waste.
They do
really.
You know, no offense, Nassri, obviously, but you know, gods have their mysterious ways, and sometimes people kind of don't like that. So, yeah, by all accounts, the Aeorians got quite obsessed with it.
Don't worry, Yin'beros. From tonight and every night, we'll spend a good hour, and I can tell you all about the gods and what they do and their ways and how they work. Now, your education will be ongoing for the rest of your life, but fear not, I shall make it my life's work to fill in these blanks in your life.
Great. Pup?
I think we should go and speak to the buyer, because they seem to know the root of what's going on and what we might need to know, and we need them on the exit anyway. So let's organise that first. Work first always, and then I'll let you have a drink. How about that?
I think we need to mount an expedition to some ruins, don't we? So the buyer is going to be very useful to us. Maybe he can give us a bit of information about where to strike out for. Otherwise, we're just walking off into the blizzard, aren't we?
Absolutely.
That is true.
Might even be able to teleport us up there if there's a bit of legwork.
That would be handy. Yeah, maybe he's got a set of teleportation circles that link up various ruins.
Isn't that kind of dangerous? I mean, I don't really know much about this teleport.
Compared to sailing, a breeze.
Right, okay. Well, that's
fine. What that clock, remember, there's small tiefling children dying in a pub attic right now, so the quicker we can get up there, the better.
Yeah, you're absolutely right there. But I'm thinking, once we've done this, assuming we're successful in getting this Milky White solution over to Powerbank, could we not stay here and investigate some of these other ruins? I mean, it feels like an opportunity for treasure, for adventure.
One quest at a time, often, friend. To the buyer's tent.
Morgo definitely chips in at that point. Absolutely, you've come to the right place if you want to venture. There is expeditions all over the place. They're gearing up for another delve. Going to take place in a couple of weeks. They're starting to pull together people. So if you're around and about in the next week or so, then they're always looking for extra hands.
Lean across. I
can
really
introduce
like
you
it.
if you like. You know, for a little finder's fee. Can help you out.
Yeah, sure, but we ought to speak to the buyer first.
You want to go to the buyer? No problem. Yeah, I'll show you to the buyer. No worries. So she kind of stomps off, arms out. You think you can see her loosening like a button, and kind of just pulling at her collar a little bit as she kind of stomps off into the sleet and the howling gale blowing. You guys, on the other hand, perhaps Lamul not so much, sort of maybe kind of shiver a little bit and pull your cloak tight. She leads you to an enormous yurt. It's easily the largest that you can see in the camp, and she gestures for you to enter. She said, "Oh, I'll pop back. I've got a couple of errands to run, but I'll be back. But if you want to, Orvo's tent is over there. Yeah, you remember that."
Over there, yeah, you said that.
Yeah, she goes stomping off, and as you duck inside the yurt, the first thing that greets you is the pungent sense of incense. It just fills the yurt. The walls are painted with glowing arcane runes, and they're kind of shifting and swirling around. There's a brass brazier burning brightly in the center of the floor, and around which there are a few kind of plush chairs and big thick kind of floor cushions. There's a bed off to one side and a large stone chest at the foot of the bed. And on one of the chairs sits an elf reading a book, and there is a small dragon with green butterfly wings curled up in their lap, and they are kind of just absentmindedly stroking the small dragon. And they look up and they just say, "Welcome. Please take a seat."
I'll blow the snow off the top of Nassri's head and shrug off my enormous pack that's got my regimental shield hanging off the back of it and a long sword sticking out of the side pocket. Oh, good to meet you. You must be the buyer.
I am the buyer. I'm very pleased to make your acquaintance. New faces in camp is always a welcome sight. What brings you here?
Well, we'll introduce ourselves and take a seat, I guess, as requested.
I'm just standing there at the moment, agog at the glowing, swirling symbols and the dragon and everything, just like...
Yeah, it's completely unexpected in this kind of in this environment. It's almost like you've stepped into another world. The buyer puts you completely at your ease, creates food and water of some sort, and it tastes delicious, warming, nutritious and nourishing, and is more than happy to make small talk and put you completely at your ease. And you get to the point in the conversation where they turn around and say, well, how can I help you? How may I be of service to you?
So me, Nassri, and Yin'beros, I guess, would have talked about this on the ship, but I guess we got no reason to not be completely straight with these guys, have we?
No, not at all. No, I mean, Elro said that. Yeah, Elro said that they're going to get. They made contact with the buyer, didn't they? To say they are going to send the stuff back via teleportation anyway. So they're going to need to see the Milky solution.
So I guess we're going to be candid there, aren't we?
Yeah.
We'll just lay it all out. Start tugging at the heartstrings, talking about their poor tiefling children dying, coughing in the beds, freezing up. So we're going to try and we're going to try and persuade him to help us out any way he can. So we're presuming that it's already set up that he's going to teleport the goods back, but we're going to try and now get a bit of persuasion on to sort of lull him into helping us out if he's immediately offering. Sorry, they don't immediately offer it.
Well, they seem perfectly willing to help, and you get the sense that once you started to open up about the quest that you are on for Elro, and that you were referred to come to the buyer for assistance in teleporting it back, it's almost as if they knew everything all up front, but they were really rather just making sure that it was all kind of getting confirmed appropriately, just to be doubly certain. And the buyer is more than happy. They gesture to the stone chest and say, any item that I put into the chest, I can send to any one of 6 or 7 locations across the biting north. It's a wonderful device and very lucrative, one might say.
Impressive. Could you get a person in there?
Well, they'd have to either be a very small person or cut up into very small pieces.
Yeah. And where's the other ends?
The other ends? Well, there's one in Shady Creek. There is obviously one in Palebank. And there are a few others dotted around. But
specifically?
Well,
little shift.
One shouldn't reveal all one's secrets on the first date, now should they?
True. Do they look like chests at the other end, or could they be like anything?
Could be anything.
Right.
How mysterious.
Yeah. Is that a real dragon?
Yes.
It's a bit small. I thought they were like mountain-sized things. Set fire to whole villages and stuff.
There are many types of dragon.
I'll
show you a little picture.
What's it called?
His name is Elro. He is a fairy dragon.
Elro, like named after the leader of the glass blades.
My little joke, but don't tell him.
Your secret's safe with us. It's not safe with us.
No, Elro and I go back quite a way. We've had a wonderful life interacting with each other, and it's my Elro is my familiar, a small fairy dragon of some use, aren't you, Elro? And it just kind of tickles him behind the ears.
I'll give it a peppermint.
Oh, it crunches on that. Quite happy.
I'll look at it in a mixture of fascination and utter terror. It looks both cute and ridiculously dangerous in equal amounts.
You're embarrassed.
Yeah, it does look at you, and it looks incredibly cute, a bit like my little chihuahua. But then it grins at you and giggles, and it has the most razor-sharp triangular teeth.
And either step back or slide the chair back, whichever works, and then probably end up tipping over or falling over.
You almost do like a double take. It's like, how could that cute thing suddenly like look so kind of mischievous? It looked like a gremlin, basically. Is that kind of look? But I'm
going to try and steer the conversation back to like him helping us out.
Yes. Well, how else can I help you? I think Elro, the real Elro, obviously tells me that you want to trace someone's footsteps.
We need to get out to the ruins.
Yeah, Ergon.
Well, I know
his adventuring company where they were investigating, where they were excavating last time they were here, because we need to retrace their steps back to where they were adventuring.
Well, Orvo is definitely someone to talk to. I know that Ergon and he often adventure together, and certainly the expedition they went on a couple of months ago, Orvo was part of that. They came back quite quickly and talking about they could only get so far in, but they need to kind of prepare and have another go back, because what they did find in their short foray into this place was truly wondrous, and I certainly helped them move a few pieces on.
Okay.
So
right?
Ergon, well, look, Orvo sold pretty much everything to me, and I was able to shift it quite quickly, whereas Ergon was rather secretive and took all of his stuff. He thought he could get a better price the further south he took it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess that sort of makes sense.
If you got to think of anything else to assist us, because lives are on the line, I appreciate you're a business person, but if you've nothing else, you'll excuse us while we try and make preparations to hurry along and get some cures as fast as we can.
Yeah, no, absolutely. There isn't much in the camp that is here kind of for sale. Everything is brought here by people with an expedition in mind. So I can't offer you much help other than information and a guarantee that if you are able to find some of the antidote to the frozen woe, I can absolutely get it to Pale Bank without any delay.
That's great. Thanks for your time, and we'll see you shortly, hopefully, with some antidote.
Yes. Well, look. Good luck. And if there's anything that I can help you with, or I can tell you about, then do come back anytime. It was wonderful to meet all of you.
Most gracious.
Yeah, thank you. Perhaps, how do I get my own fairy dragon? It looks kind of cute.
We have to study for years and years in order to master the arcane arts, and then you have to perform a lengthy, complicated, and expensive ritual to attract an appropriate companion from the ether.
Can't I just buy one?
No.
Oh, well, I'm too busy being pious to do that, apparently. All right, maybe once I've done that.
Well, good luck with piety. It's an admirable thing.
Put it on your celebration day list.
Right.
You know, Nassri, you'd make being pious much more attractive if we got a free fairy dragon at the end of it.
Piety is its own reward. It's one of the things I learned. You know, you're only on your journey, but you'll learn this along the way.
That bit I'm not sold on yet.
Justice, good, helping others, selflessness. They'll all make you feel warm on the inside.
This discussion happens as we're tramping across the snow towards Orvo's tent, please.
Yeah, no problem. So in the distance through the howling wind and the driving snow, you can see a small campfire burning in front of an equally small tent. The flaps are open, and inside the tent sits a young dwarf. His face, it looks quite heavily scarred, as do like his arms and his hands. But his face in particular stands out, and it looks as if it's been scratched by large claws. There's a short sword casually laid across his lap. He looks like he's kind of oiling it, and but he often reaches out and kind of sort of warms his hands to the fire and goes back to oiling his blade. He looks up as he sees you kind of heading towards him, and you can see his hand just kind of resting close to the hilt, not necessarily on the hilt, but certainly closer than it once was. And he looks up. He has a very quite soft-spoken demeanour, and he just says, "Hey,
Well, Matt,
who are
over.
you?"
I bet you didn't expect to see another pair of dwarves out here, did you? And I'll pat the Goliath on the hip.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. Do I know you?
We've got a mutual friend.
Oh, right. Okay. Who's that?
Ergon?
Ergon. Oh, yeah. Great friends. Oh, wonderful. How is he?
He sends his regards.
Fantastic. That's really good. I'm looking forward to him coming back. We have such adventures. I mean, the last one was, yeah, that was pretty exciting. But we'll go back. Don't you worry. There's plenty to be got out of that particular tomb.
Oh, could you tell us where it is, please?
Yeah, he told us a story about that. But you know what he's like in storytelling. I couldn't tell fact from fiction. He was a bit dull, to be honest. But he said, "No one tells it like you." Here, Lamul, pass us that hip flask of spirits, will you? And we'll just sort of settle down like we're supposed to be there and find the space around his fire and start passing booze around and stuff and trying to get him to open up and tell us all about this tomb that he explored.
Okay.
Down and throw another log on the fire.
But I mean, he absolutely isn't suspicious. But if you make an appropriate charisma check, we'll see how he reacts to the fairly decent approach.
Right, so I got an advantage to carry forward by finding out these ruins. So I can pepper in loads of stories about things that I heard off the sailors to make it sound authentic.
Definitely.
We already know what he's going to say, but we're just trying to get him to tell him his way.
No problem. So it does sound a little bit like a deception to me.
I mean, it confused me. I thought Ergon was dead, and they were all saying, "Yeah."
I'm not trying to. Oh, it's up to you. I think I'm trying to persuade him. So we're giving him booze, food, camaraderie, stories, joining in with the old.
Okay, all right, yeah, that's fine. I'm happy with that. Yeah, if you're erring more on the side of that rather than just trying to outright tell a falsehood, that's fine.
Well, we're not going to go there or anything.
We're not going to go there with deception. It's not like we're saying he's definitely alive. We've kind of been, a bit vague about it, to be honest, just simple, because I don't really want to be the one to break the news to him.
Economic with the truth. It looks like a strategy that paid off. He warms to you, seems quite comfortable, and in fact seems entirely taken in that you and he and Ergon are all mutual friends, effectively. So what's your angle that you want to take with that? What are you looking to get from him?
So we're getting him to tell the story of where they went and what they got.
Okay.
Well, we know what he got. We just need to know where he went.
Okay.
And where he's going to go next, because we're just kind of like we're enamoured people listening to this interesting tale of brave adventures, because we're up and comers and want to do something similar, that kind of thing.
Cool. Well, yeah. So you kind of hint around the edges of that, and slowly but surely you form that question in his mind, and before you know it, he's kind of filling in the gaps. He and Ergon a couple of months ago found the blue vials in somewhere that they call the Soul's Vault, which turns out is an Aeorian ruin, partially submerged underwater. In a region of Feren, which is the name of this island, where the glacial ice is particularly thin, and rather unimaginatively, explorers call this region the Thin Sheets. Although did kind of talk about the ruin being particularly well preserved, and he believes that it's because the structure is reinforced with magic, which gave it a degree of protection against the elements, and many of the Aeorian buildings that house particularly hazardous materials or dangerous experiments or secret projects tend to be these kind of structures that are reinforced with magic, and you realise with a bit of a sinking feeling that might be to keep what's inside in rather than what's outside out. So he talks about South Vault being 200 miles northwest of Cyrinlia, and he tells quite a anecdotal story about some ice methods that they ended up following. They realised that these ice methods were flying in arrow straight lines, and So they followed one to see where they were going and found this structure, and there were ice mephits kind of all over the structure. It's almost like they're attracted to the magic somehow. But yeah, are you going to mention the blue vials or anything in particular, or are you just sort of like dancing around the more general edges?
As long as he doesn't seem to be suffering, because I don't want to keep it secret that it's dangerous if he looks like he might have contracted something. That'll go against my vows. But as long as he looks like he's hale and hearty and, generally in good spirits, I don't see any particular need to bring it.
Yeah, he seems fine, to be honest with you. He doesn't show any signs of the disease that you can tell. So yeah, he seems absolutely okay. So you don't see any reason to mention it necessarily, unless you particularly want to.
Unless he brings it up, I don't think there's a need to, is there?
No.
I'm being particularly quiet at the moment because I feel like I've entered into a situation where the wrong word will cause us grief, and I'm probably sort of just watching Nassri I'm not quite sure when I have permission to speak right now, so I'm just sort of staying right back and saying a little.
Very wise.
So I've pinged it on the map for you.
Ping it again, would you please?
It's not coming through on the player. Well, look, I've added the Aor crash site, which is a couple hundred miles northwest. There you go. Thank you.
There you go. Yeah.
I don't quite know why my ping wasn't working, but there you go. Yeah, so that gives you a sense, and perhaps he sort of scratches this out in the snow at his feet and sort of shows you the rough map, and you, Nassri, are able to fill in a lot of the information, tying it up with the conversations that you had with Mila and the other glass blades, that you can follow, like this sort of volcanic river that flows through the middle of the island, and it is many days' journey, as you could imagine. It's hostile, dangerous territory, and a landscape that's unforgiving. So it is several days of hard trek to get close to it.
Did they do it on foot before then?
They do it on foot. Yeah, it's not easy for animals to kind of survive out here, and certainly with the dangerous sort of flora and fauna around.
Okay, 200 miles through heavy snow and freezing temperatures sounds like a great hike. I'm ready.
There are some lava rivers, so we'll thank him and move on at some point, making our excuses. And then between us, I think we just have a conversation around. I think that Morgoth, who we met, suggested there might be caravans that go up at some point. So it's probably, I don't know what time of day it is, whether we do it now or in the morning, but at some point we probably want to find Morgoth and or someone who's going to be leading an expedition up there and see if there's a handy one we can tag along with.
At least go part of the way, yeah, because that's a long way.
And if it seems like it's going to be a long time, then we might just strike out on our own.
Okay, yeah, I understand. So there's so you kind of nosing about after chatting with Orvo, and you're half hoping to sort of like bump into Morgoth. You end up kind of stopping at a fire that has a relatively large group. There's probably about 7 or 8 elves and dwarves and a couple of humans there. And one of the humans introduces himself as he calls himself rather grandly Professor Golram Shalebrow, don't you know? And I am putting together an expedition. Have you come to sign up? You look rather sturdy fellows. Well, perhaps not you, but definitely you.
We come as a job. We have experience in these kind of things. We have experience in trekking. We have some skill at arms, and we can look after ourselves, and we're pretty self-sufficient too. I'd love to tag along with your expedition if you're leaving it any time soon.
Oh, not soon. Not soon, no. We are waiting for some supplies to come from the mainland. We are on a rescue mission.
Rescue?
Very exciting. Yes, yeah. One of my fellow academics, crazy fool. I told him not to do it, but he went off searching, origins of strange magic, etc., etc., etc.
Is that his name, Crazy Fool? Is he like a barbarian?
That's what we like to call him, but don't tell him I said
plenty of people with that name.
Yes. Oh no, we have at the university we have such fun with pet names for each other. It's wonderful.
The long winter nights must just fly by in the university.
They do, and along with protracted.
Whereabouts did Crazy Fool go missing? If you don't mind us asking.
In the region, the Mutalos region. It was a few months ago. It's right at the other end of the island. I'm surprised you haven't heard of it. Well, actually, I'm not, because you don't appear to be as learned as I am.
We're not academics, for sure.
Oh,
but we'll be leaving probably this time next week, I would have thought, and travelling to the other end of the island, undertaking perilous journey, and to rescue a fellow. I can't think of anything more honourable or exciting than that. The ladies are going to swoon when I get back and regale them of stories of daring do and adventure.
We'll be we'll off ahead of you, but catch us up and look us up if you happen to be passing the southern tip of the mountain range. See if we can catch up at that point. Might be worth sort of trading stories, and good luck with finding your friend in Mutalos.
Is that where you're heading to? Is it the thin sheets, I believe?
In that direction.
Yeah, in that kind of general.
Well, we'll be following the lava river as an obvious landscape, and it keeps the chill away, doesn't it? At night, and makes it much more pleasant for camping. But certainly, we will keep an eye out for you. But
watch out for our campsites.
Yes. Well, we'll do. And if you want to join the expedition, I'd be more than happy to take some or all of you on.
I can fish.
Well, I was thinking exactly of that skill set. That is something that we are missing.
In a lava river.
In an island with a river
I like
made of
a challenge.
Well, having spotted that Yin'beros is doing that thing where he's saying the wrong thing again.
Dragged off. Hook.
But yes, good luck, and I hope our paths cross again. It'll be wonderful to hear.
I have a feeling they will, Professor.
Fantastic.
These things have a funny way of turning out, don't they?
Oh,
all right. Well, good luck with your expedition. We'll see you somewhere north of here at some point in the future.
Right. So we'll take our own counselling, and I'll say, like, look, guys, it's looking like there are expeditions. Everybody's got their own view of the world, but it feels like we need to get off and just crack on and try and get these this antidote for people who are dying in Paleback.
I agree. We should do this now, or at least soon.
Expedition isn't going to be going any faster.
No.
It's just going to be safer. So I think we need to, the three of us in the wilderness, we might have to rough it for a little bit, but let's yomp it, and because we're on the clock, aren't we?
We could ask Mila to come with us.
As a ranger, that's not actually a terrible idea at all, unless she's got to go back with the ship straight away. But it might be a good idea. Why don't you, Nassri? Why don't you go and ask her?
Right, yeah. So if you get together a year and whatever else we might need here that we haven't already got, let's arrange to head off first light.
Yeah. I'll arrange some sort of dried meat. I'm convinced that I can fish under the ice, but I'll see if I can buy some dried meat and provisions, basically rations.
Yeah.
To see us
Well, interestingly, you find or Morgo kind of shows you to an unused tent. The previous inhabitant apparently managed to find the inside of a saber-toothed tiger the hard way, and has no further use of the tent, and has procured for you a couple of adventuring packs, some sort of 50 kind of hard rations, bunch of rope, and just your standard sort of adventuring gear. So it's enough for another 5 uses of adventuring gear, and enough rations to get you there and back if you don't dilly-dally along the way.
Okay,
so if you load it up into a massive burden that I can carry, with pots and pans and bedrolls on the top.
Well, there's loads of rope there, so you can actually use the rope to kind of bind it all together in one massive kind of backpack. In the meantime, you go down to the docks, and the glass blades look like they're sort of making ready, and Mila sees you coming over, and she sort of like sachets across in that elven way, and
making no hesitation in the snow.
They can't just walk anywhere in my eyes. Elves always do something stylishly and amazing.
He always mints as far as my dwarf is concerned.
Yeah. So yeah, with a completely unnecessarily flamboyant swing on her hips, she comes over and says, "Ah, Nassri, come to say goodbye."
Yes, unless you desire to save the lives of poor freezing children. If you think you're more valuable going back on the ship, spooling rope and keeping an eye out, then by all means head back to Pearlite with the other dozens of glass blades there are in their scores that protect the village who are doing naught for the children dying there. But there's another opportunity just to throw it out there. You could potentially come with us and help us find the cure more quickly and save the lives of all those that are freezing from the inside out due to this alien curse.
Good one. Good one.
What I say, holding my most innocent friend.
I have got orders.
Can we get sort of flash the two of us and Yin'beros is going, she's got a wonderful way with words. She's absolutely convincing.
Give me a persuasion check, and because of previous kind of relationships, you can take an advantage on that. She likes the cut of your jib. You're not quite sure whether she's just half hiding behind orders or not.
Come on, Neely, you never wanted to be a Marine. You're a land girl.
There's a 20 in already. Is that?
Yeah, good enough. She reaches down and she grabs a pack that looks like it was ready-made and swings it onto her back. And she's like, "Yeah, told you. I'll see you in a week or so." And she kind of jumps down. She's like, "Yeah, let's go." And I thought you'd never ask.
I'll give her a playful pat and say, "Good girl. Come on, let's do it."
I'll punch her in the top of the arm.
Doesn't matter where I'm sitting around the fire, I'll move to one side and say, "I've saved your spot."
Into the snow.
Really annoyingly for Yin'beros, she seems to kind of really enjoy the punch in the arm and she gives you a proper dig back.
I know.
I think Yin'beros is just more confused now.
I am, right. What is going on?
So, what the adventure actually then gives us is a whole load of notes and complex math for us to actually work out travel pace. And I would like to point out that I've read it extensively and I deem it unfun. So we're just going to kind of montage through. Taking Mila on helps you avoid any encounters, planned or random. And we will sort of fast forward through. She pushes a punishing pace. You're probably covering best part of 20 miles a day. Some days you're getting up to 25, maybe even 30 miles a day. So 7 or 8 days later, you are there. You are against the clock. As you know, the disease has a couple of week gestation period. So you need to get in, get out, and get back. So Mila is basically a hard task mistress when it comes to setting a pace. But she keeps you safe, guides you through. If you can imagine going through this volcanic fjord with a orange lava river to one side and these huge ice glaciers, like ancient ice, it's been compressed so much over the thousands of years that it's almost a dark green at the bottom, fading all the way up to like fresh white as the snow dusts down on it. Huge kind of angular peaks to the mountains. It's terrifying, exhilarating, and incredibly exciting to kind of be on this journey. And Mila's good company. So we'll kind of flash through that and get to the point where you are crouched above on a rocky bluff overlooking like a valley of some sort, and in the valley is a icy blue, almost turquoise lake, and at the far end of the lake you can see this squat square building, and it looks like it's kind of sunk partially in the into the lake, and it looks like it's kind of sort of slipping into the lake a little bit at the back end, and you can see a few small blue and white flying imp-like creatures, spiny little arms and frosty faces as they kind of buzz around what you presume is the entrance.
Yin'beros, being ever enthusiastic, will point it out to his fellows. Goes, I think that's it.
We've reached the destination.
Yeah, it must be. That must be the Salt's fault or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. So he'll pull her hood off and just like wipe her face, which sunburned on one side from the lava and like frostbitten on the other.
Yeah.
And just stand the other way for a little bit, just to kind of let this cycle off.
I'm going to drop the burden onto the stone and start like handing out armor to everybody. Time to get loaded out, guys. Okay. There's your leather. There's your chain. Swords, daggers, everyone.
Thanks, Lamb. Yeah, thank you. Awesome.
So
are we ready now?
Mila suggests that she stays here to keep watch and make sure that no one else approaches. Wishes you luck and says she'll wait here for as long as is necessary.
Good luck, Mila.
Handshake
after 2 days, get back and tell everyone that, to have a drink on us.
Yeah, no, she's going to wait for you to come out and escort you back, but she wants to make sure that if all four of you go in and something bad happens, then news will never get back. So she's going to make sure that you don't get trapped in there.
Keep an eye out behind you. There's an expedition which might catch us up depending on how long we're in there. Watch out for them, and I'll tell her all about the professor and his expedition.
Okay,
that's a really good point. As we move away from her, Yin'beros will keep looking over his shoulder just to make sure she's still there and just remind himself that it's Mila.
Whispering. She's going to look up. She's going to look up. She's going to look up. She's not.
Exactly. She seems to be looking the other way all the time.
Stretching her back.
That punch really worked, Lamul, by the way. I wasn't expecting
it. Always does, mate. Always does. They love it.
So Nassri's going to shove Lamul forward as the scout, because basically he's going to wade a path through the snow.
Yep.
So it'll be like up to here on me, so I can't actually see the landscape anymore.
Right.
But he's
trying to shield.
Like,
I'm just gliding across the surface, leaving no track whatsoever. Being an elf, of course.
So you start trudging down the side of the valley through very deep drifts in places. It's like wind whipped snow. It's biting cold, and you're heading towards this half submerged, dark blue stone building poking up through the ice. And as you come up to maybe within 100 feet or so of the entrance, you can see a grey stone door, and it's carved to look like a face, but with a half exposed skull. And then inscribed above the door is the word Salzvault, in kind of chiseled into the stone. Tell me about who's approaching, how you're approaching. Is someone going ahead? Are you just going en masse? Just so I've got an idea of what your approach is.
I'm at the front, using my shield to sweep snow from side to side. This thing's going to be looming up as we get closer and closer to it. I think if the ice methods, if they do anything different, they'll be like our canary in the coal mine. So if they start swirling around or come towards us, we'll reevaluate our plan. But otherwise, I don't think we could delve up on this. I think we're just going to walk on towards it and see what we see.
Well, look, make a perception check at the front.
Do you want all of us to do that?
No, just the one at the front. Lamul.
18.
Yeah,
that's cool.
I've got sharp eyes. I'm used to scouting out wildernesses.
You're also taller than everything else.
That is true. Look, check this out, I say. No, not there. Over there.
All I can see is your backside.
18. So you realise that where there's like snow that's like blasted against the side of this building, it doesn't seem to be sticking as you would ordinarily expect. It's almost like it's trying to hit like a Teflon pan, and it's just sort of sliding off and falling. So there's these big powdery snow drifts, and you can see with your very sharp eyes what look like a couple of small spiny blue creatures hiding in these like snowdrifts either side of the leering skull door. What do you do?
Okay, do I know anything about ice methods, having been born in the mountains? Oh, I do.
You well, you can certainly see the picture. You can make me an appropriate check. I mean, everyone knows that they are kind of imp-like creatures. They tend to be native to like elemental planes, and they represent the various elements that they come from. But they're basically mischievous, trickster, like sprites, if you like, and can be quite dangerous if you don't deal with them carefully.
I see. How about survival?
Make me a check, a survival check, or something
Survival
like that, or knowledge, or arcana knowledge, or something.
Okay. Oh god.
Yeah, no, and that's pretty much what you know.
No, I've got 15 on survival. Is that?
Oh, you got 15, did you? I beg your pardon. I just saw the pair of sixes. So what you actually remember is stories of when a mephit dies, it explodes. That seems to be an important detail that you remember to mention to people.
Okay, right, fine. All right, watch out for these then, guys. They're kind of native to like extreme wildernesses, I suppose. These ones are tricksters. Don't trust them. Keep your eye on them. Don't let any of them get behind your back, and don't get too close if it comes to swords. All right.
Okay.
So right now they are not aware that you're aware, unless you're going to literally stop and say, right, watch out for these things, or if you're going to try and do it out the corner of your mouth as you're walking along, pretending nothing's going to happen. How are you going to deliver that?
Well, I think we could have spoken about ice methods at any time in the journey, couldn't we? Because we knew that they were a thing. And
true.
So, so I'd probably shared what little knowledge I have about them at some point before this, so that we're prepared.
Well, you are the one that spots them because you're up front, and I'm assuming the other smaller fellows are kind of huddling behind you a little bit and just sort of head down, trudging through your footsteps. So, how are you going to signal to them that you've spotted the methods, or are you not going to?
Let's drop down into the snow then, okay? Military style.
Right.
Hushed whisper. I'll explain. There's I can see two of them up ahead, flanking the doorway. Is that doorway open or closed, Matt? Or
it is closed. Right. Yeah.
Do they look like they're guarding it to me?
No, they look like they're hiding. But as you stop and fall to the ground, they kind of one sort of like pokes his head out of the snowdrift, looks at the other, and you can almost see like a imp-like shrug, and they kind of explode out in what they hope is going to be a terrifying display of surprise, and they look like they're whirring their way towards you. How are you going to react?
Okay, the shield's already out. I'm going to loosen my sword from its scabbard. Ready, fellas. I think they're not going to ask us any questions.
So we can't send Nassri in to talk to them then?
You cannot send Nassri in to talk to them at the moment. No.
I'm going to let them kiss the hammer.
So they are starting to kind of make their way towards you at high speed.
Draw my blades.
I think you're drawing blades and they are heading towards you. It's only one time. It's time to roll initiative.
Let's do that.
That is my initiative looks really zero.
Oh, select token first. Yes, that's right.
Oh, what?
Then roll initiative.
So you click on your token in roll 20 and then roll your initiative in your...
You can do. I don't tend to use that turn tracker, largely because I don't know how to use it. But let's try. You can talk me through it. Hey, look at that. Right, I'm going to click on... I'm going to use a top tip, which shows I'm going to Control C, one of these, and I'm just going to make it... Oops. I'm going to Control V, and then it will do something useful. Yep. And this guy... I am going to hide somewhere else after rolling initiative. So I can add to turn, and then I can roll for initiative.
You have to pop a 15 for me, and my initiative roll didn't work, but dexterity did, and it's the same. So it's not.
Where is the initiative button on these bad guys?
Usually just to the right of their stat block, if it's an NPC stat.
Oh yeah, there it is. Beautiful. Good job, guys. 5 for the ice methods. This one is obviously not here, so I will now make him invisible. Oh no, that's
Where'd he go?
annoying.
Where'd he go?
Oh, now it went in. Okay, that's a bit weird.
That is
Okay.
annoying.
15.1.
Attacking layer. Apparently, if I put it on the GM layer, then it kind of takes out the turn order as well. So what we'll do is
Hide it in the building.
Yeah, good idea. Let's do that. Good plan, Batman. Right, cool. So how do I reorder this turn order, bad
So
boy?
settings cog and press descending.
Descending. Let's go. So 15.13. Nice. Okay, so Lamul, which are you going with? The 19 or the 15.13?
The 19's Yin'beros.
Just give me 0.13 to differentiate between me and him. It's
Right.
all ordered now. Just go for it.
I've got Yin'beros. Right, so I am confused. Who is 19?
Yin'beros.
That's what it says. Yin'beros next to it.
The one that says Yin'beros next to it.
Okay, literally on my screen it shows 9 on my screen for Yin'beros.
That's rude.
Yeah, and right, okay, cool.
It looks perfect to us. Yin'beros is on 19. He's top of the turn order, mate. And then it's me. Then it's Nassri, and your guys were slow.
Right. Okay. Cool. Good. I am in business. Right, Yin'beros, you are fastest to react.
Yep. So I'm actually not going to wait. I'm not going to strike forward and attack them just in case they're moving in to come up and look aggressive and then speak to us. So I'm just going at the moment to make sure my weapons are drawn. Move off to the side. I'm kind of planning to be maybe around here somewhere. I'll try to ping the map. And then I'm going to take a hide action to hide amongst the snow so I can burst out in an aggressive fashion and jib them.
Treating them to the raw medicine.
Okay. That sounds cool.
Yeah. So I'll make a stealth check.
Please do.
Oh, look at that. That's a proper rogue number. That is 24.
That is a demon number and no mistake. Cool. I mean, they are. It's almost as if you weren't there.
So I'll move around to here, basically.
Fantastic. I'm going to hit the click. Lamul.
I'm going to rise out of the drift, shaking the snow, going "Rah!" like an angry yeti. I'm going to pounding across the snow, charging towards this ice mephit, where it's going to meet my military issue longsword at top speed.
Okay. Make me a roll.
11 to hit.
Is a hit, but it was at the very tip of your axe.
Sword.
Very,
That's what I
the
mean.
tip of it.
7 damage, mate.
7 damage. Fantastic. Cool. And we are going to go with Nassri.
So can I make it to this other method in time?
I beg your pardon?
I'm just going to do that. Yes, I'm going to rush up to the other one then,
Okay.
covering Lamul's flank, and then spank it with my hammer, saying, "Kiss the hammer of my gods."
Moradin.
13 to hit, 9 points of damage. Yeah. So
Front.
you guys kind of leap in and take the fight to them. The Mephits seem a little bit perturbed by this, but they quickly recover, and this Mephit here is going to breathe like an unnatural, chilling frost breath comes kind of harrowing out. It's like opening the freezer when you just got your PJs on.
Lovely.
Yeah, it's so 15 feet. So I'm gonna say that includes you, Nassri, potentially. I imagine.
It's all right. It's on my shield size.
No, it's just short of you, so that's fine. So it's just you, Lamul. It is a cold attack, so you've got to make a dex save.
Have I now? Right,
Yes,
okay.
please.
Well, I should have a little problem with this. 4.
4 is not
That is a
going to
little
do
problem.
A little problem indeed.
Oh, caught me flat-footed.
it. So you, sir, are going to take 5 points of damage from this frost breath. This other one is going to. That's unusual. Why can't? Oh, there you go. This one over here is going to basically try and jab its kind of sharp claws into you, Nassri.
I have the armor of faith.
Oh, it's going to hit with a 19. And it's going to do 3 points of slashing damage, and you realise that the claws are made out of sub-zero ice, and that gives you another 2 points of cold damage that almost hits you in a second wave of pain.
Like all ice.
Yeah, it's going to say curse that Sub-Zero ice.
Yeah, and he
correspondent,
cackles,
right?
and sort of swings around you, like laughing as it does, slashing out in glee. Yin'beros.
Okay, I'm going to come sliding in, realising that apparently we weren't going to talk to them. My two military friends had taken on the offensive. So I'm sliding to there. I'll strike out with my short sword first, with the intention of sneak attacking.
Yep.
Let's see, a 20 for that would be 12 points of piercing damage as I come in point first.
Point first. How does your blow land in a killing style?
So as I'm sort of sliding in, like I'm gliding across the ice itself, I bring my blade up, tipping it from underneath my sort of spinning my wrist round, and then pointing it straight up under the throat of this thing, so it goes right up through the back of its head.
Fantastic. Explodes with a burst of jagged ice. So basically, Yin and Nassri, can you make dex saves to kind of avoid the worst of this ice burst?
Probably not. For the 7.
7 is not going to do it. You can take 4 points of slashing damage, please, Yin'beros.
Ow!
And Nassri, you too can enjoy the benefits of 4 points of slashing damage. You basically like got all this ice just embedded up one side of your face as you sort of turn away. Maybe you got a few of them sort of stuck in your forearms. Meanwhile,
I'll take my cunning action if I may.
Yes,
to,
absolutely.
I'll take my third and turn that into a move so that I move up towards Lamul's one, basically. So I'm standing side by side with Lamul.
Perfect. And it is Lamul's go.
I'm going to drop my shield into the snow beside me, so it'll just land in the snow up on its edge.
Yeah.
Grab my longsword with both hands and swing it under the ice from its chin.
Oh, I hope this lands.
Yeah, so do I. So do I.
Yin'beros has just realised he hope he doesn't.
Oh man!
No, maybe the ice is like the wrong kind of ice for you.
Action surge. It was only a feint. I'm coming back round for another blow.
Perfect. That's much better. Two-handed, yeah?
Well, yes. However, I just need to check what I've rolled on that because I can re-roll 1s and 2s with great weapon fighting because that's my thing.
Okay.
However, I don't think I did roll 1 or 2. It was a 3. That is awful. 6 damage.
6 damage is better than no damage. So 6 damage. You basically slash through the air several times. The Mephit is just about staying out of your reach, but it seems to be getting slower and slower. You sense an opening is coming really quickly. Nassri.
So I am somewhat worried that if I jump in as well and smash it, it's going to destroy all of us when it explodes.
There's an element of that.
Just taking pause. So just because I'm D&D, if I wanted to use a crossbow, for example, can I use like a whatever the minor action is to ready that, and then the main action to shoot it? Is that?
Yes, you can.
Right. So I'll try and shoot it from a distance as it flies up, gleefully tittering at my friends.
Yes, yeah, it's like bouncing around and desperately trying to stay out of Lamul's sword tip.
Looks like he's too quick for me. Stick a pot shot.
Yeah, you think you see a chance. You kind of squeeze the trigger, but you perhaps were a fraction too soon. It was one of those where you were almost too good. It didn't move where you thought it was going to go. The Ice Mephit is going to roll a d6 for reasons. And he is then going to slash you with his claws. Probably still you, Lamul. You're the biggest.
Good job. I dropped my shield, eh?
Going to hit you with an 8. It is not going to hit you with an 8, and we're going to move swiftly on to Yin'beros's go. So as this thing just scrabbles against like your chainmail vest, futilely hoping to get a purchase and not just scrabbling off. Yin'beros, how are you going to deal with that?
Yin'beros is not the brightest star in heaven, so he's going to strike at the Mephit, thinking that the other one exploded maybe because I went for a headshot or something. It can't happen twice.
Almost
surely.
certainly the reason.
So he's going to go for a body strike.
That makes sense.
18 for 11 points of damage, including a sneak attack.
Wow.
Yeah, so you plunge your sword straight into the body like you planned. This completely diffuses all chances of this thing. Bang! And it explodes again in your face.
What? Who knew?
So yeah, that is a dex save for Yin and for Lamul, please. You managed to take half, so you're going to take 2 points of icy slashing damage, whereas Lamul is going to take the full 4. Of these kind of jagged chunks of ice just peppering you.
All right.
And
pick out the lumps of ice from my skin and kind of go, ow! That wasn't supposed to happen. I went for the body.
The Mephit is what we like to call brown bread.
Well played. Can I grab a second wind? Hands on knees, trap my longsword in the snow like I've just sliced a ball on the 9th fairway.
Yep.
Oof. Well played, Yin'beros.
Thanks. That hurt.
I forgot.
No one said anything about him exploding, though.
I think I literally did say something, but then I went and forgot about it myself, like an idiot.
Oh, right. I probably wasn't listening.
So, Nassri, while they're picking like lumps of ice out of their face, I'm kind of guessing that you'll probably go up and have a little poke at the door. It's a wonderfully carved stone door. It definitely caught your attention with your dwarvish nature. You realise almost instantly as you walk up to it, that door is frozen shut. It's going to take some kind of degree of force to open that door. It's got almost like an inch thick sheet of ice that's built up against it.
Well, coincidentally, I'm also feeling like I need a rest of a good hour or something to recover.
Do you?
So if we got a fire going and started to have a hot meal against that door, that might help get rid of some of that ice.
I like it.
The way I'm looking.
Yeah, definitely.
I can see why she's in charge, Lamul. She's got all the.
Yeah, no, I like that. So yeah, you build a fire up against the ice sheet, and you keep feeding it from the tinder and the dry wood that you have. Tick a box off your adventuring gear as you build up a roaring fire, and yeah, very quickly the ice sheet starts to crack, and you can see rivulets of water running down it, and then it just sort of slumps to one side and sort of falls away from the door. Doesn't put your fire out. You've kind of managed to brew up a nice warming drink and patch yourselves up, pluck all the icy shards out of each other's faces, and you get the benefits of a short rest, and you've de-iced the door.
Nice.
I'll take that benefit because I'm still picking up bits of ice.
All right. Okay, guys, we've been outside for the best part of a fortnight now. Even I'm starting to get a little bit chilly. Let's get through this door and get inside, shall we, before those ice methods start circling?
Sure.
I'm going to do it again to get a second, because I took both hits, remember? Not that I want to make a big deal of that, my fellow companions. That's cool. All right.
Okay.
So note to self, they explode. We should use ranged weapons on them next time.
I'll be putting my crossbow back in its wax sheath.
Yeah, you want to get the frost off that string. The first shot's never a good one from you, is it?
Oh, it never is.
About half hour into the short rest, there'll be a moment of realization on Yin'beros when he sees Nassri put the crossbow away and go,
That makes so much more sense.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll make a show of blessing Yin'beros's weapons as well with the power of Moradin, just so
Okay.
we'll help him out when we go to this tomb. But you have to have faith, Yin'beros, remember. This isn't just some idle magic. You have to believe in the gods.
Is that different from being pietous? Is it?
It's all part of the rich tapestry of religion. Don't think about it too much just now.
There's too many long words involved.
Just believe. Believe in your weapons.
While that sermon's rumbling on into the second hour, I'm going to put me back to this door and see if I can get in for all of our benefits.
Okay, well, look, it's not frozen shut, and you can reach down to a fairly obvious handle. You kind of grab it, click, and you basically push the door open. And against all odds, it swings open completely unexpectedly and shows a 20-foot by 20-foot entrance chamber. The heavy stone walls, when you go in there, they dampen the cold and the howling wind outside. Carved into, and one thing I do not like about this adventure is north is not up. Carved into the east wall, which is the wall opposite you, there looks to be an inscription in some kind of flowing draconic style runes carved into the wall. The walls are made out of black stone. The ceilings are about 10 foot high, and as you can see, there are a couple of doors, one to your right and one to your left.
Okay.
How do you proceed?
We need to use that light thing that Nassri can do, because I know, Lamul, you're not.
I'm already in the process.
Interestingly, one of the things that is apparent is there is a glow of almost like an eternal flame glowing in here, casting light in the room. So it is already lit.
I'm going to cast light on Lamul's shield anyway, on the front-facing part, obviously.
Nice.
There's a lion rampant on it, so if the light can be inside the lion, that'd be even better.
I'm down with that. I think that'd be cool.
Should make it an apple with a bite taken out of it with the light coming out of that. That'd be even cooler.
I didn't have the choice. It's regimental.
Right, of course.
Handed them out on day one of training. I've kept it.
Good for an apple.
Typical Elven unit. They had apples on their shields.
Of course we did. They're growing trees like we do.
Yeah. Nothing sadder than an Elven breakfast. Nothing.
Continental.
Salad.
I'm going to look around for this glowing flame thing. That sounds imminently nickable.
You kind of realise it's sort of embedded in the ceiling behind like some kind of sort of crystal orb. There's just shedding a light in the room.
Okay.
Seems magical. Definitely seems firmly embedded in the ceiling.
It's like they thought of me.
Yeah, it's like it's stuck into the ceiling with MacGuffin glue.
It's stuck into the plot and not refusing to move. I'm going to head in.
Okay, fantastic.
Is there anything to differentiate between left and right for us, mate, with what we hear, smell, or see? Or is it just a 50-50?
Make a perception check, because you might pick something up, potentially. But it's got to be a good one.
I only do good ones.
Well, then you've got no problem.
17.
17 definitely counts as a good one. You can hear the faintest clank, and it's a familiar clank. It's like armor plates clicking against each other. And at that point, we have a quick flashback back to sitting in the tent, telling tall stories with Orvo and Mustave, and you remember him leaning in at one point and intently saying, "There were suits of armor. They were alive. They came after us. That's why we had to run. It wasn't because we were scared. We just couldn't deal with them. Who can deal with like full plate armor coming at you with a sword the size of your leg, swinging at you time after time after time?" And then we flash back to you kind of hearing this faint clank echoing, muffled, slightly muffled.
Nassri, bring your hammer.
Come time.
Cool. Right, me and Yin'beros back to back in the centre of the chamber. Nassri, no doubt, will join us with hammer in a minute. Was that from the southern door, Matt, or is it just echoing around the corridors?
It's from the southern door predominantly, the one that is ever so slightly ajar. Right. Looks like it's actually been kind of jimmied open. There's some score marks in the black stone walls.
And we could always just bolt north and slam the door behind us.
Good. Did you think it's one of those moving armour things that we were told about?
Sounds like it to me. Coming closer, Matt?
What do you want to do, mate?
Are they coming closer?
No. Not that you can tell.
Okay.
So are you going to head to the south, i.e. the left, or are you going to head to the right?
Right.
Or are you going to have a look at the draconic inscription?
Here's a thought. If they couldn't get past the armour and they didn't find the milky white substance, then there's a greater chance of us finding the milky white substance behind the armour.
Fair. Yeah.
Than in the armour.
All right. Well, we're not.
Oh, in the armour. I mean, yeah, that could be what it is.
So we're not being pressed at the moment. It's just clanking around back there.
Maybe they're on a patrol.
That script, I say, pointing up at the southern wall. I can't.
I'll have a look at it, although everybody knows my actual arcane abilities and stuff are pretty weak.
You're an apprentice, we understand.
You're really going to need Draconic to be able to read it. Is an ancient version of Draconic. You got any language remotely approaching that?
No, but I call foul because they said they spoke Elvish here, and I'm feeling disappointed.
See?
We're going to ignore the GM clue that we can't solve anyway. And
Oh, you can't. So you don't have Draconic. That's fine.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I will clock that away for future use.
We were not supplied with Draconic in our pre-gen loadouts.
Oh, I did not put languages down. If I had, I would have put Draconic down on at least one of you.
That's not mine useful. Anyway, enough of this banter.
Which one of you is most likely, historically, to have some idea of Draconic? Which one of you do you think is more?
Well, I speak Giant, which is an ancient language.
Sure.
So do I.
Yeah, let's go with that. And the language of the mountains. You know, you kind of look at it. You think it's some kind of welcome notice, welcome to Sassvault, and then something about wait, and then you definitely see something that seems to be emphasised about not touching anything.
It's the ancient race's corporate headquarters. Then
It's a restaurant. Please wait to be seated. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to vote north, away from the sounds of conflict.
Okay.
What do you think?
Well, I'm going to have to go with my old army buddy. I don't see any other way I can do this.
Yin'beros would just shrug. Yeah, well, I mean,
Let's
whatever.
try that door to the north, please, Matt.
Okay, so you go to kind of open it and you realise that it feels locked.
On the other hand, maybe the sound of conflict is something that we should be investigating.
Yin'beros has magic keys. I'm sure he can do something.
Yeah.
I've got locksmith's tools.
Oh yeah, you can absolutely have a go at the lock.
All right, leave this to me.
You kind of you sort of like you sit there. You have an assess. You get a few little sort of tremblers out.
Before I do anything, I'm going to stop because I remember a certain chest thing in the cave of the Croaker Cave.
Well, your assessment is this is actually quite a devious lock. You're going to need a 15 to be able to pick this lock.
Oh, okay. I'll, with an elven flourish, I'll make it like I'm really assessing it.
Right.
Check it over just in case it's trapped, just on the off chance.
Make me a perception check.
14.
It is not trapped.
Okay, pretty confident. All is clear. And then I'm going to move in like the expert thief locksmith that I am.
Cool.
A 22.
You are everything that you promised you were going to be as you click the final tumbler and you grab hold of the door and you just push it open half an inch and you look at the other guys and give them a wink.
Yep.
Are you pushing the door open?
Yep, I'm going to move it open slowly. So just so that I don't bash the door open kind of thing. Just maybe so I can look round.
Okay, cool. So the door opens slowly and reveals a smashed stone tables. They're just like littering the floor of this chamber. I mean, I don't know how you can tell they're tables, by the way. There is just like rubble and gravel on the floor. There are two stone chests built into the floor, standing next to each other on the opposite wall, and a door to the west, i.e. up, is inscribed again in draconic runes, and there is a large iron lever in the wall next to that door, and there is a door to the east, i.e. down, that you can see.
I'll turn to my companions and go, there's some chests and some other stuff.
Right, okay. So let's move in. And Ross, can you close and lock that door behind us?
Of course, my good friend.
Do we want to lock it behind? We probably don't want to lock it behind us. Let's close it behind us, though, in case... We'll close it behind us, and then an old Dungeoneer's trick that I learned in basic training. If I scoop up some of this gravel and put it in the crack underneath the door.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Open the door, make a noise.
And do what?
Take a handful of gravel.
Yep.
This old rubble. Stuff that underneath the door so that if anyone tries to open it, it will make a noise.
That's perfect. I understand. Okay. Fantastic. So yeah, two chests in front of you, doors to left and right, and a big kind of iron lever, which is in the up position at the moment.
Okay. All right. So all of these tables have been crushed. Tables crushed. Strange thing to have happen. Just check out the ceiling, 2 foot above my head. Does it move? I could probably touch it from here.
You can. You give it a bit of a heave, and then you kind of like give it a bit more of a squeeze. Doesn't seem to be moving. No, it's just it is icy cold to touch.
Why would you crush a table?
I don't know. It seems like a strange thing to do to find tables. And these 2 chests that are at the end of the room, they're still intact by the looks of it. So maybe something didn't drop on them, or I don't know. It's a strange thing.
Seems very strange. Should I check the chests out? I say with the level of
I'm
enthusiasm.
gonna get some of that rubble and run it between my fingers, Matt, and see if I can investigate if there's any chance at all of knowing how this has happened.
Yeah.
It's a good question, and I'm glad you asked that. I think as you kind of go through it, you have seen up in the mountains during the real depths of the coldest winters. You've seen stone literally explode off the face of a mountain once the cold gets inside and bursts it apart. And you see the telltale frozen scorch marks, if you like, of like freezer burn that's burst this stone apart.
They've just shattered through sheer freezing temperature and time, I suppose.
Correct.
Okay.
Oh, magic. So can I just check a detail that I imagined this whole place as a box?
Yes.
But there's a door to the west, which should just go outside, if that's...
No. So it does actually kind of butt out a little bit.
Okay. So there's a little room there. I think perhaps check that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, whatever you want to do, Yin'beros.
Yeah. If you have a quick look at your screen, if I just take you outside again for a second, you see where it butts out.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
But the very notion that we're not going to check the chests out first, I look like horribly disappointed and kind of.
I see you climbing into one at this point.
Maybe it will teleport me somewhere.
When you climb out, you find yourself back at the buyer's tent.
Exactly. I'm going to check these chests out for treasure and other things.
Cool. Okay. Well, I assume you're being careful from previous experience. So,
once bitten and all that.
Why don't you make me a perception check?
Say 15.
15. So you give it a good going over. You find, and this isn't uncommon in your experience, you find a tiny archaic draconic word carved in little letters next to one of the hinges on the back of each of the chests. And the draconic symbols are identical on both chests. And when Lamul kind of looks over and squints a little bit, and you have to sort of almost bend right down to get near it, you think it says like ice or cold or something.
They had like 50 words for that.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah.
Oh yeah, being the wisest amongst us, I'll probably suggest that whatever it is that shattered the tables came from a magic rune on these chests when someone tried to interfere with them. So
that's
genius.
That's not unreasonable to kind of link the inscription with something that gets triggered. Yeah.
Point the chests outside if you're going to try and open them.
It's almost as if they realise that that's what people would do. They are big, thick stone chests. They are about 2 foot on each side, and they are actually built into the floor.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Lovely. Well, do you want to try, my friend? Do you want to try to open these?
Yeah, but it'd probably be a good idea if you move back just in case anything horrible.
Outside and make sure those suits of armor don't creep up on us.
It's very wise. Okay. Lamul, are you with me, or you want to step back?
I'm all right. I'm happy. I'm
All right.
interested to see what happens.
Okay, sure. I'm going to kind of maybe stand there and go for that one. So I kind of do it at an angle in case it fires something forward.
Yeah.
Being
Okay.
very, very cautious.
No worries. So what happens as you open it? It's not locked. As you open it up, for a split second, you see a flare of eldritch energy, blue-white light from the back of the chest, and that light just kind of floods into the interior of the chest. And as you open it up, this kind of beam of like freezing cold. It's got like almost like mist coming off of it as it then arcs across the room, and it's going to have to roll to hit. So let's go old school and roll. Here are d20s. First one is for Lamul.
Okay.
So the first one for Lamul is that's 10 plus 4. 14 is not going to hit. The second one is 16 plus 4. 20 is going to hit you, Yin'beros. You're going to take 4 points of freezing cold damage.
Yeah.
You try and duck underneath it, but this thing's kind of like a crazy kind of searchlight just beaming around the room, like one you see outside of a nightclub kind of thing. And then it kind of goes stops. And you've kind of got the chest open, and you look in, and you can see the chest is packed with what looks like fine yellow whitish sand, and nestling in the sand are 2 vials, clear glass, and the vials are filled with a glowing blue powder of some sort.
Okay.
I'll look across at Lamul and go, you okay?
Oh, yeah. What, you all right?
No.
I'll stick my head in, having seen light come at the door. Like some kind of disc attack.
Right, Yin'beros.
I've got an idea.
Don't move a minute. I'm going to punch him really hard in the shoulder. You'll be all right. Wipe the frost off his shoulders.
So, are we going to open the other one then? Maybe it's got the milky substance stuff in it.
We can't take a chance that it hasn't, can we?
No.
Let's leave that stuff right there. But
as long as everything's all right, lads.
yeah, we're all good.
I've got an idea.
Yes.
Step behind me when you do this.
No, it's a bit crazy.
I'm definitely up for ideas.
So when I was a much younger Yin'beros than I am now, before my mother was killed by that big creature, she taught me a little bit of magic.
Nice.
Okay.
And I've never really, it's coming useful for getting people into trouble. I mean, making me happy. It's got useful in the past.
Right.
I think it'll become really useful now. So if we back out, I think I might be able to open the other chest with my mage hand spell.
Ooh, get you. Okay.
Cheeky.
All right. So my plan is to only know one spell taught to me by my mother.
Right.
Plan is to move right up to here. Suggest that Lamul joins me. Come on, Lamul. Come. Watch this.
All right. Watching.
And then I'm going to make a little arcane motion in the air and say a single magic word in kind of a derivative of Elven. And this blue glowing long-fingered hand appears, which I slowly guide across the room and then try to open the other chest.
Brilliant. Okay, so you do need line of sight. So you're going to have effectively the best kind of cover that you can get, short of full cover.
Yep.
The same thing happens. The flare from the little kind of runes on the back floods into the box, and then suddenly these kind of frozen rays are just beaming out all over the place. It's going to need a significantly good roll because full cover is pretty good. Yeah, you duck behind the door as soon as you see it happening, and this thing just rakes across, scorching the stone. It's quite a curious sort of smell, actually, frozen stone, and then it sort of fades away. But yeah, as you look back in the room, the chest lid is open. You see a similar thing when you approach it. A bed of fine sand and 2 vials of blue powder inside clear crystal vials.
Look really pleased with myself.
That
What
was
do you think?
neatly done. Neatly done. So you have 4 vials of frigid woe lying there on the sand, looking at you, all dangerous like.
Well done, Yin'beros. I think Nassri will agree with me. I don't want to speak for Nassri, but all eyes on Yin'beros when we leave these exactly where they are and make sure they do stay exactly where they are when we move past them.
I'm definitely not going to take them.
Those lids are coming down like a piano keyboard, clang on his fingers if necessary.
Whoa! All right. I was just checking to see if there was anything else underneath the sand. You know, they might have kept the solutions underneath there.
Leave well alone. I think we would have been pressing our luck indeed if we'd have found the solution to our entire mission in the second chamber.
They went right to the left. Yeah, I feel like we should try and get rid of them somehow, but until we've got hands on antidote, I don't want to be handling them at all. So.
Exactly, and they're very close to our only known exit at the moment, so they could be picked up on the way, can't they?
Correct.
Seems good. Okay, so what's the plan then? Door to the west or door to the east?
We maybe investigate that lever and see if we can work out what it does.
Yeah, you can have a little poke at the lever. Yeah. There's spots of faded red paint on it. Other than that,
do not pull.
Yeah, red means dangerous, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, you read into what you mean. I mean, red ones are
running saying "do not touch" on the.
There is not. Literally, the only thing of note is these kind of spots of faded red paint.
I'm eager to try some of the doors, to be honest, my friends, because we've got dying children, as I keep mentioning, and we seem to be slowing the pace. And I think we need to crack on and look at ways out of here rather than unknown levers that we can't discern the meaning for.
You are right, Nassri, of course, as always. In fact, which way should we go?
Lead on, Nassri.
Okay, let's just check this door to the west to make sure there's nothing going to be behind us as we head deeper in.
Yeah, that door you go to, kind of turn it, and that seems locked. Doesn't seem locked. It is locked.
It appears to be locked.
If it just seems it isn't, I'll go in. Yin'beros, can you try your magic skeleton keys again?
Oh, I can try my locksmith stuff. Yeah, let me give it a go.
Okay.
How about that then? I'm getting good at this.
Thank heavens for that, because I will tell you about this part of the adventure afterwards as one of the most bizarre decisions in adventure writing I've seen for a long time. But fortunately, you made the roll, which is wonderful. The tumblers fall into place. They click, 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 and you turn the handle and you push it open into quite an austere grey interiored room, and there is an array of strange looking chests built into the floor along the far wall. You catch a faint scent of like soot or carbon, kind of sort of like you kind of find an old campfire sort of smell. And yeah, that's what you see. So there is 2, 4, 6, 8 chests. The lids on the chests appear to be open.
Oh, that's saved a lot of time.
Yeah, I was going to say that's good because I've only got one of those smells.
Hey, they only appear to be open.
Ah, yes, the old DM trap. I see what you did there.
All right, what's in them?
Yeah,
shield along the chests.
So what's in them is basically they are each filled equally with fine sand, and that is about it. You can see indentations where vials look like they've been pushed into the sand.
Yeah.
And there is a glassy feel to the sand. It's almost like it's got like a really thin crust of glass on the top of the sand.
Oh, okay. Is it like a security core case where it goes off if somebody moves it or something? Is there a sign of explosion in there?
There's definitely a sign of, and you look around the room with that in mind, there's definitely signs of intense heat has taken place in this room. And as you're looking up, you can see 8 circular sort of nozzles, if you like, coming protruding out of the ceiling.
Wow.
So why is there glass in there?
The vials themselves made of glass.
So the glass. Oh, okay. So the glass is like shattered onto the top of the sand.
It's a bit like. Well, no, it's a bit like. Have you ever made a creme brulee?
I have.
It looks
I've
like.
I've eaten more than them I've made.
It looks
though.
like that. It's basically brown sugar, but it looks like you just run a blowtorch over the top of the sugar, and it's just started to kind of create the delicious, crunchy coating of a creme brulee.
But this one's made out of deadly ice virus.
This one is definitely
follow the analogy all of it. With a spoon.
There's no delicious cream and egg yolks in this one. I can tell you.
And Yin'beros is about to kind of take a.
Getting tired of keep repeating it. I'm going to start carving it into the front of my shield. So.
We should. Yeah, we should go because there are dying children. Remember.
Just get his spoon out.
Cool. Okay.
Dirt. All
so
right.
you walk back into the shattered stone table room, past the lever with the flecks of red paint, and there is a door opposite, which when you go to give it a little kind of test of the handle, isn't locked. But Nassri, make a perception check, if you will.
I can certainly try. No, I'm rushing ahead in my impressions.
Yeah, no, that's fine. So you kind of go click, oh, finally, and you basically turn around and go thinking of the children, and you pull it open, and in the lit corridor that you open the door onto, you can see a shambling human figure, and dressed in ancient crumbling robes, but with like magical sigils kind of woven into the cloth, once quite fine, now crumbling and ancient. And this kind of creature is sort of like stumbling against this door, but as you pull the door open and you say, not necessarily loudly, but you kind of go, "Come on, guys, we're on the clock here." The creature sort of like turns around with its half rotted away face and just kind of goes, "Ugh," and starts stumbling towards you, and then you can hear with a dread sense other sounds of echoing up the corridor.
It's been there before, and I'm eager to crush them and end their own life.
Let's have a bit of initiative.
I think you have to clear the turn order, Matt.
Do I have to clear the turn order? Do I?
You know,
it really should update. Sometimes it doesn't, so I always clear it.
So I just press the big red button.
Yeah, you can do that.
Okay, cool. And then we'll do this like that. I didn't like using it. I like using my old school way.
You do it any way you want to, mate.
Yeah, go on. Call me out, because I'm a bit old school. Right.
3.13.
Right, 3.13. Beautiful.
Slow to react.
Oh, right. What's your dex is better than my dex. So
yeah, my dex is better. I'd like to think my dex is better than a dead guy's dex.
Well, I mean, he's almost as quick as you. And then we got what did Nassri get?
7.
That is a perception check, but is it the same thing? Is it?
All right. Sorry, I pressed the button, I thought, but it's not done anything, obviously, so I'll try again. 2.
Beautiful.
Can we go with a 7?
Yeah.
It wouldn't help.
Okay, so against all odds, Lamul is swifter to move than Nassri, who is stuck in the door. So Yin, you hear this kind of coming through the door as Nassri. I don't think Nassri's clocked it yet, and like pushes the door open. You get a sense of something lunging out of sight, grasping hands reaching for Nassri.
Can I kind of peek round the door and see,
you
see what
can
it is?
peek round the door. You see what was previously described: humanoid creature of some sort, dressed in ancient crumbling robes, reaching out a half-rotted hand.
Okay, duck back as a cunning action, or hide behind the side of the door, if I may.
You may.
And then my plan is to flip out a dagger and sweep it sideways straight into the throat of that creature in a move far more deft than it will actually probably
sounds good.
happen. So, that was a sleight of hand. I don't know why I did that. Stealth check, 10. Probably not going to be enough to get
passive of 8. So, yeah, actually, against all odds.
Oh, yeah.
All right, loving it. Okay. So, then the dagger. 2 seconds. I need to turn off the fact that it is a dual wield. So, let's try that now. As I fling my dagger out at the creature. 13.
13 is going to do it, yeah. So 10 points of damage.
Yeah.
Just checking the immunities. No, that's all good. Good. Wonderful. Is that your lot?
Let's see. That was hide. Yeah. And I, just in case it does get to Nassri, I want to make sure she doesn't die. I draw in my short sword. Actually, no, I'll just draw my short sword because that's it. That'll be my final action.
All right. So 1, 2, 3. Yeah. The creature shambles forward and basically just clumsily throws a fist out like a club and slams in. Oh my goodness gracious! Slams into Nassri. She just didn't see this coming. So you are going to take. I've got to roll. I've got to get this right this time because last time I think I did too much damage to you on a critical. So you're taking 4 plus this. Oh, GM sad. 5 points of damage. It was a critical hit. This thing just smashes into the side of your head. You didn't see it coming at all, and just clumps you. The other zombies, 1, 2, 3, 4. Are just going to start shambling down the old corridor, but you can't see them at the moment. And then Lamul, you've seen this creature from one of your nightmares come out, and just you swear that Nassri's having her head taken off, but somehow she's still standing.
Okay, you hear the crunch, crunch, crunch as my heavy sandals move through the shattered table.
Yeah.
Elbowing that zombie there, right in the nuts. Or in the head, actually, as I stride past it into the corridor, flicking my eyes down the corridor to see what's coming. But my attack is going to be against that one with Nassri. Okay?
Okay.
Eat longsword. Undead fell creature. 12 to hit for 6 slashing damage.
That is, it is a hit. This thing isn't moving particularly quickly. Just so everyone knows, it's an AC of 8, so you can just report whether you hit or not. So yeah, you just carve into it. It doesn't react at all. You just take a massive, great chunk out of it, but the thing still seems up and fully intent on destroying Nassri. What are you going to do, Nassri?
I am going to hit it very hard in the head with my hammer.
Best 2 more, Naz. 2 more, Yin. They're coming in slowly.
Right, okay. 2? Whoa.
3 whole damage from my bludgeoning hammer. I'm still trying to get my footing right and stuff as it's clawing all over. Its fetty breath is on my face.
Get your bearings. I mean, you crunched into its clavicle. It's exploded. One arm's now hanging down uselessly. Where Lamul's carved into his side, this thing is barely holding to pieces. It's amazing that it's still up. Yin.
Sweeping forward with my Elven Grace. I'm going to get behind the creature, then stab sideways with my short sword.
Nice.
In an attempt to cut it down.
Cool.
Hitting an armor class of only 11, but that's a hit.
That is
for
a hit.
10 points of damage.
10 points of damage. So he's got to make a con save now. Yeah, so you basically just slam into it, rip it down, ribs exploding out everywhere, and this zombie just sort of goes back and then just comes back at you, impossibly still coming at you.
Okay, as my offhand action,
yep.
I'm going to grab at that dagger that I left in it.
Nice.
They pull it out and then plunge it straight into its face if
I
can. All right. So a 20, but for only 1 point of damage.
Only 1 point of damage. It's another con save. And yeah, you plunge in again and again and again and again, and every time you're doing it, you're hacking big lumps of flesh out. This zombie's still trying to smash Nassri down. It's going to do that right now. It's going to slam you, Nassri. 18 is a hit. 4 points of bludgeoning damage as this meaty fist crunches down on you. This zombie's going to come in and make this distance up, and that one's going to get to there. Lamul, you're going to get a slam coming in at you. AC 13 just bounces off of your shield or your armor as it kind of just clumsily tries to club you down. What are you going to do?
Okay, so there's a tide of zombies coming over my shield. So I'm going to, like a Spartan style, stab over the top of my shield into the tops of their heads.
Brilliant.
With my longsword. So first attack, 15 to hit for 7 damage. I'm going to action surge to take a backhand swipe.
Yep.
And the second one hits for another 8, so it's a total of 15 on that one.
Oh, that's amazing! Yeah, so in old school terms, that is bloodied. So yeah, you've just like literally hacked at it. Half of its face is coming off. You've basically kind of carved huge chunks out of it. Nassri, this zombie will not go down. How are you going to deal with it?
It won't die. Keep yelling out.
I've got under my actions Channel Divinity to turn undead.
Sounds good.
But I've not got a button to press to make that happen.
Haha.
That's not compute.
I assume it automatically works for me, and they've got to make their whiz turn.
I think so. Do you know what? It's been so long since I've actually played a cleric and actually encountered an undead. So let's have a quick look on D&D Beyond.
Yeah, they need to make a save.
Oh, it's not called Turn Undead on there, is it? What is it?
Channel Divinity.
Channel Divinity.
Channel Divinity, yeah. Perfect.
6 seconds. That's how long a turn lasts.
What's this?
I've got the wrong rule.
Channel Divinity. As an action, you present your holy symbol and speak a prayer censoring the undead. Each undead that can see or hear you within 30 feet must make a wisdom save. If it fails, it's turned for 1 minute or until it takes any damage. If it's turned, it needs to peg it away from you as fast as it possibly can. Can't take reactions, blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool. So wisdom checks for all 3 of them, actually. Doesn't bode well with... so no, yes, and no. So the one right on top of you is turned and is going to try and get away from you. The middle one that's fighting Lamul is hell-bent on doing that and ignores you. But the other one is going to turn tail and flee from you.
Moradin echoes down.
Yeah, so I'm just going to give him a cheeky little kind of turned glowing yellow thing. There you go. Cool. All right, Yin.
I don't really know much about turning stuff. As Nassri actually said, don't attack them or anything like that, because the obvious thing for me is to keep trying to kill it, even though it's trying to get away from Nassri. So I'm guessing that she's not said anything.
It's probably not coming to our lectures, but I'm guessing tonight it will do.
Yeah. Okay. We'll carry that one forward, I suspect. Then, as Yin will continue striking at the back of this thing, cool. Desperately fearful that Nassri's going to die again or nearly die again, and it'll be his fault.
Right.
So he's like in a bit of a panic now, striking at this thing repeatedly, just going, "Why don't you just die already?"
Yeah.
So with the short sword, that's a hit for another 14 points of damage. Sorry, 15 points of piercing damage.
15 points of damage plus 5. I've now got a DC 20 save. Oh my god. This thing, 21.
Oh, brilliant.
You're just like slamming into it. Like maybe one of its arms is coming off, right? It's exposed its spine and it's like old leathery shriveled lung there. Just like inflating like an old balloon. This thing is still up. How is this even possible?
He's probably got tears running down his face now, thinking this is it. This is it for Nassri. He's like, just don't die on me. And striking out with that dagger, maybe going for the legs. Maybe if I can take its leg out, it will just be dragging itself along the ground or something.
Mix it up a little bit.
Hitting it for only 1 point of damage. And
I'm
just struggling in a panic now, trying to stop this thing from killing her.
It's an 8. What did you do? 1 point of damage. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Dagger goes in, carve its calf muscle off. It comes away like just flopping now, loosely attached by just one tendon just behind the knee. This thing is still up and seems intent on like clubbing Nassri. It is no longer turned, sadly. So yeah, that one's going to have a slam at you, Nassri. 16.
Nope.
Clank. This one is going to turn away, shuffling away from like the hated kind of radiant light. But this one is not bothered. He's trying to slam the hell out of Lamul. 23 is a hit with a critical.
Wow. Yeah, that counts, mate.
There is
one
3
modifier and 2 dice.
7 points of damage, yo.
7?
Yeah.
Was it a critical?
It was a critical. It was green. Yeah, 23 I hit, basically. Or the zombie.
Yeah. Just wondering about the damage, mate. Did you get 2 lots of dice and 1 lot of modifier?
Yes, that's what I rolled. So I just rolled 1 additional d6, and my normal damage is 1d6 plus 1.
Okay. So that was a total of 5, was it, mate?
Total of 7.
7, sorry. Thank you.
2d6 plus 1, so you got just below average.
Cool.
What are you going to do about that as this zombie's coming over the top of your shield and like raking kind of claws across your face, tearing ribbons out?
Yeah, okay, so I am going to step around this thing. I'm going to yell, they call me the Hidecarver. You can't hide, and this is my carver. And I'm going to hit it with a longsword.
Nice.
It probably can't understand.
Oh, it's a critical. Yeah.
Okay.
So
right.
how much damage is that? Because that is going to reduce it to 0, and I'm going to make an undead fortitude save.
So it's going to be 9 in total. It's 6, but the extra crit does it another 3. As far as I know, is that right? 6, 9 in total. Yeah.
Yeah, 9 in total. So I've got 14 save. No. So you basically just slam through this, drive your sword in, yank it out, and the zombie just shatters into. No, it doesn't shatter. Just collapses into like a formless lump of dead flesh on the floor.
Nice.
Yin, seeing that, will just turn around and go, Lamul, we can't kill this one. Come and do it.
Nassri, what are you going to do? This zombie, it just won't die. It's basically half a zombie, but it's still coming at you.
That's all right. My holy utterances has given me the extra yard or so I need to swing my hammer properly.
Beautiful.
So this time, no doubt, will be a puissant blow.
Moradin will not fail you. No, Moradin does not fail you at all.
Wow, he does not fail.
11. So I'm going to make a con save. Is 15. I needed 16 for the zombie to finally meet its end. With the power of Moradin, you look triumphantly across Yin'beros as if to say, you needed the power of Moradin, you needed more faith as this zombie collapses and dies.
What did I tell you, Yin'beros? Believe in your weapons. Have faith in the blessing.
Yin'beros looks like he's about to just cast his weapons away, and then he kind of holds onto them sternly, looks at the other zombie, and kind of swallows hard. Okay.
Cool. It is Yin. The other zombie, as far as you can see, is shuffling away from you and doesn't appear to be intended to come back at you. What are you going to do about it?
Kind of look across at Nassri, knowing that there was this light, and she called out to Moradin these things, and he just says, what do I do?
As long as there's only that one left, let's try and destroy it now. I momentarily removed it from our plight because I didn't want us to be overwhelmed, but if there's just one lone zombie, between the 3 of us, we should easily be able to map it up.
Okay, right. I'll head into it then.
If we don't slay it, it will come back. They always come back.
Okay.
Yin'beros is going to, not quite as brave as Lamul. I think we've already established that. So he'll drop his blades, draw his short sword, and just take a shot from his short bow at range. He doesn't want to get too close to this thing. He saw how difficult it was for him to kill it. So he's going to move up so he's standing pretty much over the corpse of that other zombie.
Yeah.
And fire his short bow.
Beautiful.
Hitting. It's not a sneak, so that'd be 5 points of piercing damage.
5 points of piercing damage. It definitely hits, thunks into it. It stops and looks kind of almost down, and then just slowly turns around and starts shuffling towards you. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 is what it's got.
Looks somewhat apologetic. Lamul at that point.
Lamul, this zombie, like with a crossbow sticking out of its head, is now kind of coming down the corridor, hands grasping out for your life force. How are you going to deal with that?
Hold this. Hold my shield, Yin'beros. And 2 hands on my longsword.
Yes.
And step forward and plunge 4 feet of Goliath steel into its chest.
It's the best kind of steel.
That's the idea.
Oh,
Kiss him. Beam on a crit. 2-handed.
11. You go in. You half severed its spine. You've definitely disemboweled it. Fetid black guts spill out of it, wetly flopping on the floor. And this thing kind of, it's reaching at you, but slipping a little bit in its own guts. One good blow, and this thing is going to go down. Nassri.
I will unsheath my crossbow and step forward to take a knee and shooting between the Goliath's legs.
Don't get a 1.
Okay.
So I'm standing like Conan, so there's plenty of space between my knees.
Standing like Conan. Standing like John Wayne.
Like a lion.
Like a lion.
You're rampant.
You take careful aim. You fire this crossbow bow. It thunks deep into its inner thigh, and goes up to the feathers in its leg. It's definitely moving much slower. Feels less dangerous, but those claws are razor sharp. Yin.
Okay, so grabbing that other dagger. So I'm not going to go back for my other stuff, so I'm just going to grab my dagger out and I'm going to sort of slide down the corridor, almost on my knees, slashing at it as I go past, so I end up behind it with a blaze. My plan is to get round to here, but as it's a cut as I slide past it.
Awesome.
Striking with my dagger. Okay. This is a sneak attack, so 10 points of piercing damage as I thread my dagger through its legs and thighs as I run past it.
That is, how's that going to react? It's going to react badly to it. Yeah, as it's kind of rearing back to kind of claw at Lamul, you just literally come in, hook your blade around through its spine, yank it out through the back, and the thing where Lamul's opened its guts up, you just finish the job off, and it just severs into 2 pieces and slumps to the floor and weakly kind of grabs out just for a second. You think its life essence is going to flare once more, and then it just slumps down, breathing heavily. You realise that all is still with the zombie.
Nice.
Wow, we did it.
Back to the grave.
That was horrible.
So,
right,
chaps,
5's all round.
We are coming up on 2 hours 40. Do you want to pause it here, or do you want to carry on for a little while? Because there is a bit of meat left on this bone. I'm not going to lie.
I'll go with a majority. Whatever works for you guys.
I think I'd like to stop.
Okay.
Yeah.
We can pause it for now.
So let's pause the button here, and we can reconvene the action at a later stage. And look, you're kind of knee deep in zombies, deep in an ancient magical experimental laboratory, looking for a solution to a deadly disease. What can possibly go wrong? I'm going to say goodbye from me.
And goodbye from me, and blessings of Moradin upon you.
Thanks for watching, everybody. See you later.
Cheers, guys.